When you're simplifying a ratio of polynomials, you want to factor both the numerator and the denominator. As I look at this, I see that the top looks like it's a difference of squares, and so I'm thinking I'll take the square root of each term to figure out what goes inside these sets of parentheses. Square root of 9u squared would be 3u, so that goes in the first position of each of these. And then square root of 49 would be 7. And so I need one to be positive and one to be negative so that when I FOIL this, the outer and the inner terms will cancel out. All right, now this gives me a good clue as to what may be in the denominator because I'm guessing that I'm going to be able to cancel one of these with some term in the denominator. And so I'm guessing that there's going to be a 3u and a 7, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be positive or negative right now. So what I'm thinking is, okay, if I multiply two numbers together, 3 times what would equal 3, so it's going to be 1, so this one would be u. And then what times 7 would be 7, so that would be a 1. So now I just have to figure out the signs on these. It looks like I want one of them to be positive and one of them to be negative. And so let's just do an experiment here. 3u plus 7 and u minus 1, or 3u minus 7 and u plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to FOIL this first one. 3u times negative 1 would be 3u times u would be 3u squared. 3u times negative 1, negative 3u. 7 times u, positive 7u. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. So it looks like my middle terms are going to combine to make a positive 4u. This is a negative, so it looks like I'm probably going to want these instead. Let's see. 3u times u is 3u squared. 3u times 1 is 3u, and then negative 7 times u, negative 7u, and negative 7 times 1. So these two middle terms will combine to make a negative 4u, and so that now will give me the correct trinomial that I want, and so these are the signs that I want, a negative and a positive. And so you can see that these 3u minus 7 terms will cancel, leaving me with my simplified fraction as 3u plus 7 over u plus 1. Let's look at a second example. If I have this one, I right away notice that I have all negatives in the bottom, which is interesting, and all positives in the top. So that seems a little bit strange. I'm also noticing that it looks like I can maybe factor out a greatest common factor from this denominator. And so let's try to take out that negative 6 and see what's left over. That would leave me with y squared plus 12y plus 35 when I divide out the negative 6. All right, and then let's go ahead and factor the numerator. So I want two terms that when multiplied will give me this. So y times y will make the y squared. And what times what would make 5? Well, the only choice is 1 and 5. And we either need 2 pluses or 2 minuses to get that positive 5. Since we're adding up to 6 in the middle, I'm going to make these both positive. And so now I'm guessing that one of these two terms will be the way that I factor this. So let's take a look. I'm going to have a y and a y down here. And I want two numbers that multiply to 35 and add up to 12. So if I do 1 times 35, that would work. And then 1 plus 35 would make 36. So that combination will not work. Let's try, let's see. 2 doesn't go in, 3 doesn't go in, 4 doesn't go in, 5 goes in. So 5 times 7 would equal 35, and then 5 plus 7 would be 12. So it looks like the 5 and the 7 will work. And I can make those both plus because both of these terms are positive. And so now This is in my denominator, the negative 6, the y plus 5, and the y plus 7. I can cancel the y plus 5's, leaving me with a final fraction of y plus 1 in the numerator, and then negative 6 on the outside of the parentheses, and y plus 7 in the denominator. And that's my final answer.